What's up, you guys? Chet-Guthrie, the Dream Poet here, coming to you all from the outskirts of East Tennessee, more into Middle Tennessee, or just to hit the nail on the head, we are at Whitwell Middle School here in the Chattanooga area. And the reason why we are here today, you guys, is we are here to visit a very, very interesting monument dedicated to a very heinous and horrible thing that happened in the 30s and the 40s. Now that, of course, being the Holocaust. In about the span of 12 years, over 6 million Jews were taken from their homes and they were mercilessly murdered at concentration camps. One of the big ones being known as Auschwitz. Now, 4 million of those were gypsies, or better yet, Jehovah's Witnesses, pagans, and those of the LGBTQ community. Even about 80 years later, this heinous act of aggression towards other humans is still remembered to this day. And this is why we are here, you guys. You see, back in 1998, a group of students from Whitwell Middle School were having trouble learning about the Holocaust and what it was like to just imagine 6 million people losing their lives. And what they did is they started asking other people around the community. They started sending out letters, and they were asking for paper clips. Each paper clip would represent one life lost during the Holocaust. And soon after it got out in the media, you had people from around the world that were handing out their paper clips saying, this represents my family member, this represents my great uncle, my great aunt, this represents my father, my cousin, my sister. Pretty soon they had paper clips coming in from around the world. As all this unfurled, the school got together with other organizations here in the area of Whitwell, and they created this museum. Now, before I show you all this monument and this memorial, I have to tell you all why the paperclip is so important to this project. You see, the paperclip was invented in 1901 by Johann Wahl. He was a Jew from he was from the Norwegian area, and during the Holocaust, as a form of protest towards the Nazis, Jews in that area would put their paperclip on their lapels as a form of defiance towards the Nazis. Really what this is, it represent their unity, them staying together, and that is a big reason why these children started out with the paperclip. So you guys, let's check out the Children's Holocaust Memorial here in Whitwell, Tennessee. So now let's talk about this cattle car that sits here at the memorial. You see, this cattle car right here, this is the very last one of its kind. And during the Holocaust, sometimes over 150 people from the Jewish community, from the disabled community, and other communities that were persecuted by the Nazis and the German community, they were all stuffed into this train car. Now, after World War II, after the war was over, this train car was abandoned in Poland, and it really sat there for several years until it was being used as a rice car to deliver grain and whatnot throughout the 70s. And then for a while it sat in Germany in a rail yard. Then it became then it also was a part of a museum. So when the paperclip project took place, the citizens of Germany, they came together. They got together with the school, the city of Whitwell, the other surrounding communities, And they took this railroad car piece by piece, took it apart, and they shipped it to Whitwell. And if you notice, you will all see the numbers like right here and right here. By the way, check out this door. This door is seeing a lot of things. When this came to America, and after it came from American Customs, they put this railroad car back together piece by piece. They shipped it here. And then from there, it was brought on the tracks down here through Whitwell in the Chattanooga area through the help of CSX Railroad. And it was placed here. Now these railroad tracks actually came from an abandoned rail yard out in Memphis, Tennessee. See, CSX, they wanted to have a proper timeline of what kind of tracks this type of car would be going on, and that's the only place that they could find it. They had to go all the way to West Tennessee just to find the rails that this type of rail car would have seen. So you guys, let's go up this ramp and see the millions of paper clips that sit here in this car, each one of them representing one of the lives lost during the Holocaust. And I think this is interesting. Holocaust, der Robel Berlin, Germany, to Manimal Kinder. Well, that was the man in the family who donated it to Whitwell, Tennessee. Alrighty, you guys. Here in this boxcar are, well, more than 6 million paper clips. There's actually about 11 or about 10 million. Well, actually 11 million. Each one of these represents one of the lives lost during the Holocaust. These are not a just surface level with kind of like a display beneath it. No, this goes all the way from here about 8 feet back and about 2 feet thick. And it's crazy to think that this many lives were lost because of one group's oppression. And right here in this display, this is a suitcase that would have been seen during the Holocaust of what, well, Jewish families and other families would have to leave behind. This one was found by it was found back in the 40s as at a German bus stop, and in it are written all apologies from a 8th grade class in Germany towards Anne Frank and her family for what their people did to hers. And now some information about this particular car. As you see, this flooring is not to the original. As I was saying, back in the 70s, this train car was used as a grain car in Germany. And one of the biggest things also that kind of gives it off too is this open window right here. That is also another part when this car was renovated during that time. But as for the sides of this car like this, these are original. I mean, just imagine like how many families were laying against this car or this wood right here. I mean, it's almost really, I mean, well, no, it's really sad to think, because people were heading to their doom in this car. In fact, as of right now, as of the filming of this vlog, it's about 82 degrees out here. And imagine the hot German summer, the hot Polish summer, as you had anywhere from 80 to 150 people in this car. They'd be sweaty, they would be dying. Sometimes they would go days without food. You see, the only times that these people would be allowed to eat would be when a German soldier's car would be passing by. This is also a time when Nazi soldiers would be pulling the dead out of these cars, throwing them in the ditch somewhere in the countryside, and that's where they'd keep going. Just all in all, just a very horrible act of aggression towards the people that didn't really deserve it. Well, no, the Jewish community did not deserve it. And actually, no one deserved this much death. But at that time, German soldiers, they would feed people, the people in these cars, like rotten meat or rotten vegetables with bread, and that would really be the only thing that they would ever get to eat while on their way to these concentration camps. So there is a lot of sadness in this car. However, if you do listen to the, there is a really awesome lecture that's through these microphones right here. If you press that button, it kind of talks a little bit more about the history of this car. Honestly, I would probably say better than I could. But anyway, that's something y'all need to check out. Make sure to come here and what am I trying to say, you guys? Make sure to come here if you're from the area and just pay your respects. I mean, over 80 years later, the Holocaust still affects people to this day. And as we're walking out of the car, they do have another monument here. Because this is the Children's Holocaust Memorial, you have a little boy and a little girl playing on top of that monument. If you all did not know, about 1.5 million of those Jews that died in the concentration camps, they were children. And more often than not, when they would be brought to the camps, there's a good chance that they would probably be headed to the gas chambers. Because, well, when people would be brought to the concentration camps, they'd be kind of more or less sorted to those who could handle like working or being humiliated, and the others would be taken, those that were sick, had diseases, they would be taken to the chambers and the crematoriums. I mean, this was a very nasty piece of human history, but sadly it is something that we must learn about. I think this is very interesting. Look at these right here. These are, I guess they're spacers, like in order to keep like the cars from ramming into one another, these would press up against it. Now at the memorial here too, they do have a few butterflies made from ceramics or cement, I should say, cement and broken stained glass. Why this is this these butterflies represent renewal and rebirth, much like the this car that's out here, because it represents, instead of what used to be a death car, it now represents a place to remember those who had fallen, and just really remind us not to allow past events to affect our future. The butterfly. The very last, so richly, brightly, dazzling yellow, perhaps the sun's tears would sing against the white stone. Such a yellow is carried lightly away up high. It went away, I'm sure, because it wished to kiss the world goodbye. For 7 weeks I've lived here, penned up inside the ghetto. But I have found my people here. The dandelions call to me, and the white chestnut candles in the court. Only I never saw another butterfly. That butterfly was the last one. Butterflies don't live in here, in the ghetto. Paul Friedman, 4/6/1942, age 15. This garden is dedicated in memory of the 1.5 Jewish children who perished during the Holocaust, 1939 to 1945. I know this one is not exactly the happiest vlog to make, but it's one of those things that, especially in this day and age where there's so much division in our country, I feel like this type of history has to be taught. I feel like this is one of the things that we are forgetting. We have to be in unity. And that's all I can say to that. But anyway, you guys, remember, don't forget to subscribe and hit the bell icon. Always means a lot. Goes to show that y'all care and that y'all want to see more awesome videos. So without further ado, you guys, vlog over.